The early 1960s in America were a time of dynamic change and optimistic progressivism. Spearheaded by the young and charismatic President John F. Kennedy, his leadership promised a new frontier of exploration, equality, and prosperity. As he planned his trip to Dallas, Kennedy was at a pivotal point in his presidency, enjoying high public favor due to his progressive policies and charismatic public presence. The visit to Texas was critical, aimed at mending political fractures within the Democratic Party and reinforcing his support base in a state that was crucial for the upcoming 1964 election. The choice of Dallas, however, was fraught with risks given the city's recent history of political volatility. As the presidential motorcade was announced, the city buzzed with anticipation. Citizens lined the streets eager to catch a glimpse of their president, unaware of the tragedy that would soon unfold. November 22nd dawned bright and clear in Dallas, setting the stage for what was supposed to be a showcase of President Kennedy's charm and political acumen. The city, adorned with American flags and welcome banners, was palpably charged with excitement. Thousands gathered along the streets, hoping for a momentary connection with JFK, whose appeal transcended political divides. The motorcade route was meticulously planned, snaking through the main business district of Dallas towards the Trade Mart, where Kennedy was scheduled to speak. Security was tight, but the open-top limousine in which Kennedy rode was a gesture of openness and accessibility, emblematic of his administration's approach. As the limousine turned onto Dealey Plaza, the cheers of the crowd reached a crescendo. The atmosphere was electric, a communal celebration of democratic values and presidential charisma, tragically unaware of the impending catastrophe. At 12:30 p.m., as the presidential limousine passed the Texas School Book Depository, the unthinkable happened. Shots rang out, causing confusion and horror. President Kennedy, struck by bullets, slumped over towards his wife, Jacqueline Kennedy. The Secret Service reacted instantaneously, shielding the couple and urging the driver to accelerate to Parkland Memorial Hospital. The crowd, initially confused by the sounds, descended into chaos as the reality of the attack sank in. Secret Service agents and police officers scrambled to respond, their actions a blend of trained precision and human shock. At the hospital, a frantic team of doctors and nurses converged on Kennedy, attempting to revive him. Despite their efforts, the severity of his injuries was overwhelming. The official announcement of President Kennedy's death came at 1 p.m., marking the start of a national trauma. The news of Kennedy's assassination spread like wildfire, relayed by radio broadcasts and television news flashes. Walter Cronkite's emotional announcement on CBS is particularly etched in the collective memory, his voice breaking as he confirmed Kennedy's death. Across the nation, Americans were glued to their television and radio sets, struggling to process the surreal news. Schools, offices, and public places became scenes of mourning as people gathered around broadcast devices seeking comfort in shared grief. World leaders, too, were quick to express their condolences and shock. From the UK to the Soviet Union, a string of statements highlighted the global impact of the assassination, underscoring Kennedy's stature on the world stage and the broader implications of his loss. Amidst the profound shock and mourning, the continuity of government was paramount. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson, who was also in the motorcade but unharmed, was swiftly sworn in as the 36th President of the United States on Air Force One before departing Dallas for Washington, D.C. The swearing-in, captured in an iconic photograph with Jacqueline Kennedy standing by Johnson's side, was a somber ceremony that conveyed both the gravity of the moment and the resilience of the presidential office. This transition, though abrupt, was crucial in reassuring the American public and the international community of the stability and continuity of the U.S. government. Jacqueline Kennedy, in her blood-stained pink Chanel suit, remains one of the most poignant images of that day. Her composure and dignity throughout the ordeal drew sympathy from around the world. She orchestrated a state funeral that reflected both personal loss and national mourning, attended by dignitaries from across the globe. The nation watched as little John F. Kennedy Jr. saluted his father's casket during the funeral procession, a moment that broke hearts worldwide. This image, like many others from the period, has become a lasting symbol of the national tragedy. Churches, schools, and public buildings became venues for vigils and memorial services as Americans sought solace in community and prayer. The collective grief not only united the nation in mourning, but also marked the beginning of a more introspective era in American public life. Following the chaos, the need for answers led to the establishment of the Warren Commission by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Composed of 7 members, including Chief Justice Earl Warren, the commission was tasked with investigating the assassination. Their final report, released in September 1964, concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in killing President Kennedy. However, the commission's findings did little to quell the public's thirst for clarity. Critics questioned the thoroughness of the investigation and the integrity of the evidence. This skepticism gave rise to a myriad of conspiracy theories, suggesting involvement of different groups ranging from organized crime to foreign governments. The continuing debate and scrutiny over the Commission's report have spurred numerous other investigations, but none have definitively disproved the original findings. The Warren Commission's legacy, much like the event it investigated, remains mired in controversy and doubt. Lee Harvey Oswald, the enigmatic assassin. Lee Harvey Oswald, a former U.S. Marine who had defected to the Soviet Union and then returned to the U.S., was arrested on the same day of the assassination. Charged with killing President Kennedy, his background and motives were immediately subjected to intense scrutiny. However, before any trial could take place, Oswald was fatally shot by nightclub owner Jack Ruby while being transferred between jails, an event broadcast live on American television. Oswald's murder only deepened the mystery of the assassination, leading to widespread speculation about his connections and whether he was part of a larger conspiracy. Despite numerous investigations, Oswald remains an enigmatic figure, and his true motives and potential accomplices are still subjects of fervent debate and investigation. Media's role, coverage, and consequences. The assassination of JFK was one of the first major news events broadcast live on television, marking a turning point in media history. The role of television in uniting the nation in grief, providing continuous coverage and updates, was unprecedented. This event set a new standard for how news was reported and consumed, significantly impacting the journalism landscape. Media coverage of the assassination and the subsequent events shaped public perceptions and contributed to the growing trust gap between the government and the public. The immediate, visceral broadcast of Oswald's murder and the non-stop analysis of the Warren Commission's findings fed a national appetite for conspiracy theories and distrust that has persisted for decades. The political aftermath and policy shifts. In the wake of Kennedy's assassination, Lyndon B. Johnson ascended to the presidency, inheriting a nation in turmoil. Johnson utilized the nation's grief as a catalyst to advance Kennedy's agenda, most notably pushing through landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These moves were seen both as a tribute to Kennedy's legacy and as essential steps toward fulfilling the promise of his new frontier. However, the political landscape was irrevocably changed. The assassination had instilled a heightened sense of vulnerability and skepticism towards the government, influencing American politics for generations. The shift in policy and leadership also signaled a change in the US's approach to both domestic and international challenges during the Cold War era. The assassination had a profound psychological impact on the American public. It marked the end of a period of relative innocence and optimism for the United States. The televised nature of the assassination and its aftermath, including the live broadcast of Oswald's murder, exposed the nation to trauma in an unprecedentedly direct and immediate way. This collective trauma contributed to a pervasive sense of instability and mistrust towards the government, which was exacerbated by the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal that followed. The assassination became a defining point for the baby boomer generation, shaping their worldview and their relationship with authority. Despite his brief tenure, JFK left an indelible mark on American culture and policy. His vision for America, encapsulated in initiatives like the Peace Corps and the Race to the Moon, continues to inspire. Kennedy's ability to unite the nation with his charisma and forward-looking policies has cemented his place as an iconic figure in American history. Memorials and institutions that bear his name, from the JFK Presidential Library in Boston to the numerous schools and centers worldwide, testify to his lasting influence. His vision and policies are regularly invoked by politicians and scholars alike, reflecting his enduring presence in America's national consciousness. The myriad conspiracy theories that have emerged in the wake of JFK's assassination reflect a deep-seated distrust in official accounts and government transparency. These theories vary widely, from accusations against the CIA, the Mafia, and even Vice President Johnson, to more outlandish suggestions involving foreign governments. This climate of suspicion has permeated American culture and politics, fostering an environment where conspiracy theories can flourish. The persistence of these theories speaks to the ongoing struggle to find meaning and truth in one of the most traumatic events in American history. John F. Kennedy's presidency and assassination have left a complex legacy of hope, tragedy, and enduring intrigue. The events of November 22, 1963, forever changed the United States, shaping its political, social, and cultural landscape. Kennedy's vision for a progressive America, although partially unrealized, continues to influence American policy and identity. Reflecting on Kennedy's assassination not only helps us understand the transformative impact of a single event on national history, but also serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of public figures and the profound effects their lives and deaths can have on society. The assassination of JFK remains a pivotal moment that offers endless lessons on leadership, resilience, and the importance of transparency in fostering public trust.